Hey everyone, my name is Sebastian, and I've wanted to do these kind of videos, or this video in particular, about why I believe the Bitcoin mining stocks are a great way to get into Bitcoin itself. It's almost like a proxy. The Bitcoin mining stocks are a proxy for Bitcoin, but it's also a lot more volatile than Bitcoin is by itself. So if Bitcoin goes up 3%, the miners will go up, 1.5x, 2x, 3x of that. But also the same happens when Bitcoin goes down. So if Bitcoin goes down 3%, the miners will go down 6%, 7%, 10% sometimes. So it's a very volatile space. So I wanted to obviously talk to you guys about Bitcoin mining stocks, why they might be the best investment here, especially that we are in the current market where we're in the bear market, and they're also obviously very volatile right now. So we have huge swings up and down, like I said. They follow the Bitcoin price as well. So just wanted you guys to be aware of that. And as always, this is not financial advice. I want you guys to be aware of that. This is for entertainment only. Do your own research. And I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure, so you guys are aware of that as well. Next thing I wanted to show you guys here is obviously the companies that are involved in this as well. So let's take a look at that as well. And here are the companies. So we got Argo, Bitfarms, Core Scientific, DMG, Hut8, Luxfolio, Mawson, Sphere 3D, Bit Digital, CleanSpark, DigiHost, Hive, Iris Energy, Marathon, Riot, and Stronghold. This is not the complete list of all the miners here, but these are the miners that at least I cover, that I go over with, and I take a deep dive on all of these guys. I look at what miners are coming in, when they're coming in, when were they installed, what's their current hash rate, future hash rate, all of this stuff. I go into all of this kind of details here. And I'll show you guys possibly at the end of the video here of the spreadsheets that I use and I present to you guys here, whenever we get an update from one of the miners here. The next thing is obviously how I got started into basically investing in Bitcoin miners. So back in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2022, or 2020, I got into investing in Hive. And the reason I got into investing in Hive is because I started out investing in Bitcoin first. But as the price obviously grew in 2017 to almost 20,000, during that same span, a friend of mine made quite a bit of money on investing in coins. He and then asked me for help to create basically a Bitcoin mining farm, at least a small one, right? Not a very big one, something that's fits into like a 4,000 square feet unit. We got it all done. We installed quite a lot of machines in there. That learned a lot from it in the process. But while that was going on, I started looking into see which miners were also available at that time to invest in, whether, trading publicly. So the first one I got into was Hive Blockchain. So this was my first foray into Bitcoin mining stocks. And at that time, the price of it was around $3 before the reverse split that happened just recently within the last couple of weeks. So it was trading at right around here. Let's take a look at the chart here really quick. And it was trading right now. This is after the split, reverse split. So it's showing up a lot higher here as far as the numbers are concerned. But at that time, it was trading around $3. And this is in October of 2017. And this chart is through March 2020. So before the reverse split, the stock was trading, obviously, like I said, between $3 and it got to a low of 8 cents per share. So I've been dollar cost averaging into it for quite a few years, from 2017 up until I think 2019, right around 2020 is when I stopped dollar cost averaging into it, because I got my share price down below where the stock was actually trading at that time, which was at 34 cents on average. So I accumulated roughly 13,600 shares at 34 cents. That was my cost into it, was about $4,624. At the peak, when we went back up, this cycle here with Bitcoin going up to 69,000, 64,000, it reached a high of $5.75. So that was worth at that time, let's go here, was worth around 78,200. So one of the things that I've learned over this process is I know when to dollar cost average in when we're getting low. So basically be greedy when others are fearful. I've learned to do that. My biggest thing that I still have to learn, and I'm sure some of you as well, is to be fearful when others are greedy, right? So when the price is going up, I should have been selling at least portions of it up onto the peak. I didn't do that. I was bullish. I thought the stock was going to continue going up. I saw Bitcoin going up. I thought, well, we hit 64,000 last year, and then we had the China FUD that come down. Then we came back up to 69,000. I thought, great, we're going to go be close to 100,000. Well, we pretty much peaked in November, and then ever since then, Bitcoin has fallen down, and so have the miners. So this is the other chart of it here that I want to show you guys. This is what happened basically between January of 2020 and March of 2021. So hopefully you guys can see this, but Hive went up to almost, let's see here if you guys can see this. So it went up to almost 5,600% during that time span. That's a huge increase, right? While at the same time, Bitcoin has only gone up 467%. Right? You can see how this is obviously a multiple effect for the miners. So when Bitcoin goes up, like I said, 3%, the miners go up 4.5%, 5%, 10%, depending on how many people are obviously investing in the miners. So it's a great proxy for Bitcoin to get into these mining stocks. At least I believe that. As always, do your own research. But we can see here the gains are substantial, especially if you can get out at the right time. My problem is knowing when to get out. I know when to get in and dollar cost average in. I should be doing the same thing on the way up. I should be dollar cost average selling, which I haven't done this cycle, but something that I plan to do this coming next cycle. So lesson learned, right? It's something that you're gonna have to learn. And hopefully you guys have learned this already in the past. With me, I started investing just within the last couple of years, so I'm learning all of this as I go. Next chart that I wanted to show you guys is another company here. And this is Hut 8, right? Same basically time span for these two companies. Hut 8 went up 744%, while BTC went up only 458% looking at this time span, but it's basically right around that time frame that I said before, right? So still almost double what Bitcoin did, right? And here's another company as well. This is Riot Blockchain. Riot Blockchain went up almost 5,200% compared to Bitcoin's 464% on this chart, right? And this is basically based on the bull run that we have after having cycle with Bitcoin. So if you're not familiar with, Bitcoin, Bitcoin has these halving cycles every 4 years where the supply of Bitcoin gets cut in half. So right now we are getting 6.5 Bitcoin per block mined. So 6.5 Bitcoin per block mined for the miners. In the next 2 years, which is going to be in 2024, the block size is going to get cut, or the block reward is going to get cut in half. So now we're going to be down to 3.25 Bitcoins for the miners for every block reward that they get. So that's obviously going to decrease the amount of supply. That's going to drive the next rally back up, right? So that's something to be mindful of here. And obviously what happens in a bear market, that's always a good question as far as what really does happen in a bear market. So we've been in a bear market since November of pretty much last year after Bitcoin rallied to 69,000. We've been coming way down from there. If we look at the chart here, which I'm going to show you guys here, Bitcoin has fallen down, and this was done recently, about 65% from its high. And if we look at Hive has fallen down 82 point, let's see if we can redo that, 82.25%. Riot has fallen down 84.24%. And Hut has fallen down 87.66% during the same time frame, right? So here's Bitcoin, here's the other three miners. So obviously when Bitcoin goes down, these guys go down a lot harder. But the opposite is true as when Bitcoin is going up, they go up a lot harder as well. So that's always something to be mindful of, especially in this space. I keep hitting the wrong button, sorry guys. So something to be mindful of, obviously, with Bitcoin. It is very volatile, right? We know that, and it's also very volatile for the miners. So the next question is, where are we in the cycle right now? As far as Bitcoin having cycles and things like that, it has cycles where it goes up, down, we go into the accumulation phase, and then we go back up before the halving or during the halving, right? So let's take a look at that. So where are we in the cycle right now? This is the cycles that we've had in the past. So this is from 2012 which you can see here, 2016 and 2020, which was our last cycle. Each time we get into a halving starts, we get a huge rally going up. After that, sometime right around the middle part, maybe about, not even the middle part, but about a third of the way there, we start going down. And then we have this part where we are basically accumulating and trying to basically market ranges as the price attempts to find equilibrium. And then we get the halving event. So you can see here before the halving, we start going back up. After the halving, we obviously go up. And then we fall down again. We find our price equilibrium. We are kind of a little bit range bound for a little bit. We go trading up for the most part. Halving happens again, and then we go back up. So based on what we're seeing here on the chart, I believe we are somewhere in this cycle of about right around here. We've been in this for almost a year. Like I said, November was when we had the peak. And then we've obviously fallen down in price, not only in Bitcoin, but on the miners. So I've started accumulating here in the past couple months. Don't know where the bottom's going to be in. So the best thing to do is dollar cost average in. Just buy every so often as you can. Not financial advice as always. And that way you're not trying to time the market, because it's going to be almost entirely impossible to time the market this way. But if you dollar cost average in, you lower in your amounts, and then that way you can get a nice gain on the way up. So I think for the next year, we're possibly going to be trading sideways, maybe going up a little bit here like we did here. And then our next halving cycle is in 2024. So we got about, I would say about 9 months where we're going to be somewhere around here, 9 to 15 months around here where we're going to be bouncing up and high. So this might be actually a good time to also day trade if you want. For the miners, if you have the time, might be a good way to do it. I don't have the time, so I dollar cost average in, and I'm waiting for the next, obviously, bull rally that's going to happen here after the 2024 halving, which is going to cut the size of the block reward down in half, and then we're going to get that nice run back up. So I've seen this before. Obviously, we've seen it in 2012 when it happened, 2016. I got into it in 2017. I'm hoping there's obviously no guarantees with this. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. There's no guarantees with it as far as history going to repeat itself, right? So based on what we've seen, history has repeated itself. So I'm hoping that obviously it's going to happen again, and that's why I think the Bitcoin miners are a great investment, but it's a long-term investment here. So what am I doing this cycle here? I wanted to show you guys this, and let's get into what I'm going to be doing this cycle. I'm actually going to be buying a dollar cost averaging as much as I can. Obviously, as long as finances approve it or allow it to do that. Obviously, I got kids, family, house, payments, insurance, and property taxes that are outrageous, but I got to get those paid first. So anything after that, I try to put as much back as I can. Obviously, try to pay myself more than I spend out, but it's not always the case. So here's what I'm doing. So I'm currently holding on to Hive. Hive, I still have quite a bit of them, and I'm below the current price on it. I am dollar cost averaging into CleanSpark, which CleanSpark right now is at $4.29. I have 580 shares of it right now at an average cost of $5.31. I'm down on it. That's why I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm down 19.19% on it. I started buying it at a high of $9.04. The lowest I got in as right now is at $3.98. So obviously it got in lower than where it is right now, but I still want a dollar cost average into it a little bit more. Bitfarms is right now at $1.34. I bought roughly 2,000 shares, or 2,000 shares of it at a cost of about $2.24. So I am way down on it, 40.15%. So I think this is the one that I want a dollar cost average in a little bit more into it. I started buying it at around $4.96, and I got in on a low of $1.10. And I am looking to buy into other miners for diversification, just in case. You guys can't see it here, but I have it marked down here, diversification. And the reason for that is I do not want to be stuck holding the bag in case one of these miners, it hasn't happened yet. But if something goes wrong with one of the miners, I don't want to be stuck holding the bag on one. I want to be diversified across the board. You can also invest in a broad array of miners through a Bitcoin Miner Etf. There's a couple of them. I think there's one that's rigs, and there's another one that I can't think of right off the top of my head right now. But I know that there's at least 2 of them that are pretty well diversified. They have other companies in them as well, like MicroStrategy. They have some of the chip makers as well, like Intel, NVIDIA, and some of the other companies as well that are kind of in this Bitcoin mining space as well. So you might want to check those out as well. That might be a good way to get into it as well, that we get a nice diversified portfolio without having to buy these individual stocks. The thing is, obviously, this is a several year investment as far as I'm concerned. This is going to take a while to go through. We are still not at that point where I think Bitcoin is going to start going back up. I think we still have several months to maybe a year of range bound where we're going to be trading sideways, going up a little bit possibly. And then usually before the halving event, 6 to 9 months before that, price really does start to go back up. So we're looking at possibly 2 years of dollar cost averaging into these miners, possibly day trading them if you can. I don't have the time for it. I work a full-time job, and then I do this on the side when I have time. But it's obviously going to be a long-term investment on this one. There are no guarantees, but we have seen obviously huge increases in stock value compared to where Bitcoin is, especially with Bitcoin being at 23,000 roughly right now. You know, Bitcoin goes up 100%. You're at 46,000. It goes up, what would that be? 400%. You're at 100,000. These miners can go up, 1,000% in that same time frame. So that's why I love this space. It's just, it's volatile, yes, but there are potentially huge amounts of money to be made in this if you get into it at the right point, which I think right now is possibly a good point to dollar cost averaging. Not financial advice, as always. And with that being said, I want to show you guys all the stuff that I do on the miners here. So we're going to go into my screen here. So this is an example here of Marathon Digital. So I've started tracking all the miners here since last year. I started doing these videos about a year ago now, and I think in August, where I got really involved into it. I've been tracking Hive for a long time since I started investing in them, just so I know what's going on with the company. But you can see here we have a lot of data that we track on them. We track their current hash rate, their future hash rate, what's their current operational percentage of miners installed, the number of miners, the average hash rate per miner. What is their BTC HODL position? How much are they HODLing? HODL is basically how much they're holding and what the value is, how much the HODL is to market cap, how much one share has of each HODL value. And then we look at, the miners, when are they going to get installed based on when they report they're getting installed. So these are all from their public press releases. And then I just, punch in all the numbers, and then when they provide us with information as far as when the miners are getting installed, I punch them in here, get them to the same amount that they're saying that they're at 3.8, whatever it might be, and we keep adding that on as more and more information comes in. So that kind of helps us understand what's going on with the business and as far as what they could possibly be worth. We're using a 20 PE. Sometimes we lower it down a little bit. We're also looking at 50% net income from gross revenue or 75%. We can then have these kind of calculations. We're also seeing how they are doing month to month as far as what is their BTC production, what's their BTC per petahash production. So we have a lot of data on all these miners, and it's 18 miners that I cover right now. So I'm excited about this space, and like I said, I think this is a great investment possibility. But like I always say, you really have to do your own research on this. This is for entertainment only. This is for what I'm doing. And based on my previous knowledge of what has happened, what has transpired over the years, I think it's just a good possible way to invest in the mining stocks that mine Bitcoin, which is a proxy for Bitcoin basically. So let me know what you guys thought of this video, obviously, for feedback so I can improve going forward. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe. That's all I ask of you guys. There are no sponsors here. There are no, ads or anything. Well, ads are from Google, but I don't have any sponsors or anything like that, so nothing's paid here for. I do this on my spare time when I have time. Family always comes first, along with my job, and then I do this for fun, and hopefully you guys got at least something out of it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys stick around, join the channel. Love to have you guys aboard, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.